So on the weapons now, my meta that I love to use is the CR56 AMAX with the Farah. Now the AMAX build, I have the monolithic suppressor, the Zodiac barrel, commando foregrip, 45 round mag, and the VLK optic. Raven said that they are going to be looking at the AMAX, so it could potentially get nerfed. But for the time being, this is the best AR in the game. Now for my Farah, I don't have it fully leveled up, but what on here, the muzzle, you want to be using that GRU suppressor, which is just like the monolithic and the agency suppressor. So you want to be using that. The barrel, you want to be using the last barrel, I can't remember the name, because it gives you that stray speed, bullet velocity, and effective damage range. You want to be using the Spetsnaz 50 round mag, the Serpent wrap, or you could switch that out to the field aid or the Spetsnaz grip. That gives you that vertical and horizontal recoil control. And then the KGB skeletal stock is the best one to use. What? Anyway, this is my aggressive class, M4I1, pretty standard, the one that we all love and know. Then I use the Mac 10, Agency, Task Force, Field Agents, Stanag 53 round drum, SES combat stock. It doesn't matter, you could use the Raider or the SES combat, it really does not matter, or you could even use a no stock, it does not matter at all, it's your preference. I have an OG class, which is the OG Growl, it's pretty standard, and I have the Modern Warfare MB5. If you don't want to use the 5mm laser, you can use Perk Sight of Hand, it's for that reload quickness. Alright, so the Krieg actually received a massive buff. So if the AMX does get nerfed, this, I think, will probably become one of the best ARs. It's so good, and if you have not tried this out, you have to try it out. It is so, so good. And I pair it with a Mac 10, as you saw earlier. It's pretty standard. So I use, instead of using that OG Growl, I use the Growl with the VLK optic, because I am not a biggest fan of the iron sight. It is still a good iron sight if you do want to use it. And I pair that with the FAR. Now it did get nerfed, but it is still incredibly amazing. So you can still use it, but other guns may be better than the FAR. So now, I use M13, but you can switch this out for any assault rifle, it doesn't really matter. Now the LC10 actually received a massive buff, and another one of these, I don't actually have it fully unlocked, but you want to use the agency suppressor, the last barrel, it's something Task Force, I think, the Task Force barrel, field agent grip, 55 round drum, and the SES combat stock. It doesn't matter, Raider or the SES combat. Now, I have a shotgun class, and I have pair it with a stoner. You want to be using the agency suppressor, cavalry lancer barrel, field agent grip. I don't think you need that ammo size because the stoner has a massive ammo size anyway. So the stock probably will be one of these two. It doesn't actually really matter. Probably SES combat or Raider. Now I use the action arms 3 times just to get a more zoomable. And now the Garlo best shotgun, you want the agency choke, the max grade barrel, you want to use a 12 round tube, and the SES combat stock, which I don't actually have, but that is the one that you want to be using. Now this is the before the season 3 update, the M16. Now if you still want to use the M16, it's still really good, because they nerfed this, the fire rate. I now use the titanium just to give me that more fire rate than the strike team. but it doesn't really matter. It's still incredibly good. And then I use the same FFAR class as you said earlier. Now, again, I use the Farah because it's got a massive buff. I use the Kai 98 with it. Now, I prefer the variable zoom scope just to get that more zoom level, but if you guys want, you can use the sniper scope. Really does not matter. And I use reticle. I use the crossheads or the pinpoint. Does not really matter. They're both incredibly accurate. Now I use that Farah again. It'd be the Bruce Suppressor, the Last Barrel, Spetnaz, Serpent, and KGB Skeleton stock. And now with the Ghost, you want to be using whatever weapon you are going to be running as your main weapon. So if it's a Krieg, then you run the Krieg Ghost. If it's a AMAX like I'm using, you run the AMAX Ghost, or any weapon that you're running you have in this Ghost slot. And with that I have the M19s, M19, doesn't really matter. I just love them. Really good pistol. You could either use the DMRTs or the Nerf Psychov pistols. They are still good, but it all depends on what you really prefer. Now that's my M91 class. Probably won't ever really use this, but it's there if you do. And that is my top 10 loadout for the new season 3. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe and like button, and I'm out. See ya.